So unfortunately, Saints fans just got the absolute worst case, most terrible, horrible, no good, awful news around Taysom Hill. And unfortunately, he is out for the season. This report coming in from Adam Schefter. And it is also being reported from Nick Underhill that tests confirm he tore his ACL. So welcome into Saints Now by Chat Sports. Unfortunately, we have to bring you this video because no matter what, whether it's good or bad news, we're here to provide you, Who Dat Nation, information. So like I mentioned, Nick Underhill, he confirmed that it's not just an ACL tear. He actually has other damage to his knee as well, which for me, it is not good news. It really makes me nervous. And to be totally honest, my biggest fear around Taysom Hill, it's not, oh, damn, he's out for the season. It's more so, I don't know if we're ever going to see Taysom Hill like this ever again. I mean, he is having one of his best seasons ever in terms of offensive impact. He is not slowing down by any means. However, when you have an ACL tear at 34 years old, it's kind of hard to come back from that injury and especially be ready for, the start of next season. It's pretty tough to make that happen. And, no question about it, number 7 is a tough guy. He is a player who, no matter what, is going to put himself in a position to succeed. So I do have faith that Taysom Hill will be able to go through his rehab and be able to come back next season. I just don't know if it's going to be to the same extent that we've seen him over the past few years. And, just quick note, I'm just over it. I'm over this year. I'm over this season. I'm over this team right now. I'm over all of the things going on with the New Orleans Saints and just the NFL season as a whole. And in a perfect world, I would like to go into Madden or NCAA, sim to end, and just let's pick up when free agency starts. Like, I'm just tired of it. I'm over it because it's just it feels like it's just salt in the wound every single week as a Saints fan. And like I mentioned, Taysom Hill statistically is having one of his best seasons, 6 total touchdowns. He's had over 180 snaps this season. Really good on the ground, really good through the air. He's taken a lot of steps in his receiving game, not used as much as a passer. And this just brings me back to the point of this is a player who you are going to miss. He is not a player that is going to be a light injury. It's like, all right, we can make this work. We can work through this. We can manage it. It's okay. Nope. Taysom Hill is a do-it-all player. In my personal opinion, Taysom Hill is a Hall of Fame type player. Nobody in the NFL in the last 70 years has had the impact that Taysom Hill has had on the Saints offense. Nobody throws the ball. Nobody receives the ball. Nobody rushes the ball. Nobody has the special teams ability. Nobody has the special teams blocking ability and the blocking kicks and stopping punt, all that stuff. Nobody has had that type of ability at the level that Taysom Hill has, especially in the last 70 years. So there's no question about it. His impact is much deeper than snaps. And we saw it yesterday in the ball game that Taysom Hill suffered his knee injury. He was doing a lot of blocking. He was lined up as a fullback very regularly. He was lined up as a tight end very regularly. So with Taysom Hill out, this is a big miss for the New Orleans Saints offense, and this is a big player that unfortunately you're not going to be able to recreate that production. You're not going to be able to recreate that impact. Taysom Hill will be missed. The New Orleans Saints will miss Taysom Hill, and I think that number 7, it sucks to see him hurt, and it sucks to see him not be able to play this rest of the season, but I think that he is going to be very, very missed, not just offensively, in the locker room as well. So if you're with me and you agree, be sure to subscribe. We also give you free Saints content. I talked about this last night when there were initial reports came out that Taysom Hill might be missing might be missing the rest of the season because of his injury, and there would be tests and stuff. Well, all those tests are done. All the things are confirmed. That's why I brought you a video. I made you a promise yesterday that I would go into full details and go into my full reaction, and that's what we're doing for the remainder of this video. So how do we move forward? The New Orleans Saints, how do they move forward? How do we just keep this thing moving? You're not technically out of the playoff hunt now. Certainly starts to feel like it more and more every single day, but how do we move forward? I have 3 words for you. 4 words. I have no clue. I mean, this does open up more opportunities for Juwan Johnson. It does open up more opportunities for Foster Moreau, Dallin Holker. Maybe we get to see a little bit more of him. And it's also nice that the Saints are going to have a couple players back from injury or, have the ability to have them back because they're eligible to return from IR. Get to that in a second. But, I mean, 3 of your 4 best playmakers on the offense are gone. I mean, you don't have Chris Olave. He's out for the season with a concussion. Of course, there's chatter that maybe he could come back, but let's be real, guys. He's not coming back this season. And even if the Saints were on a win streak and could make it happen, I'd still opt to say maybe Olave, it's better off just sitting him and making sure that this doesn't get re-aggravated and impact next year. Rashid Shaheed, he had season-ending knee injury. He is out for the season. Taysom Hill, he joins the club of the out-for-season men in the black and gold. And like I mentioned, 3 of your top playmakers, not just on the roster, but or not just on the offense, but as the roster as a whole, are out for the season. It sucks. And not to mention, there's a plethora of other injuries that the Saints have had to deal with. I mean, not to mention Eric McCoy missing some time and missing most of the season at this point. Not to mention Lucas Patrick. Not to mention some of these other players. But let's just go back through week 1. Here are the starters at the, obviously we don't have the wide receiver 3 and 4 on here, but let's look at the starters from week 1. Chris Olave, he played 8 out of 12 games and then got sent on IR. Talese Fuaga, he's played 11 out of the 12 games. Pretty solid. Lucas Patrick, he's played 8 out of 12 games. Eric McCoy only played a third of the season so far. He's a great player. Sucks that he wasn't available yesterday. But hey, we got to get him back at some point. Cesar Ruiz, he's played 8 games this season. Trevor Penning, him and Alvin Kamara are the only 2 starters on the week 1 offense that have played every single game. And that, not to mention Kamara, he's playing through a broken hand or broken ribs and a broken hand. Like that, maybe that's why he's having some of these drop issues. Maybe that's why things are starting to look uncharacteristic for Alvin Kamara. But in week 1, all of these starters, you're not really getting a lot of action from them. I mean, even Derek Carr, he missed 3 games due to an oblique injury as well. So, I mean, at least we got some good news, right? We're getting some good news here. Maybe you get some reinforcements with Kendre Miller coming back. Yeah, Bub Means also eligible to return from IR with his ankle injury that he suffered against the Chargers. So when it comes to these 2 players, I would love to see them return this week. I think that they're very important to get back on the field just to give the Saints somebody to make a play. Like that's the big thing for me, is the Saints trying to make a play and somebody being able to make a play for the Saints offensively, because at this point it's Alvin Kamara, MVS, and Derek Carr throwing the football, which is not ideal in my personal opinion. And when it comes to, Taysom Hill and Adam Schefter's report that he is going to be out for the season, like I mentioned, my biggest fear, it's that Taysom Hill, as we know him, might be done. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But the report, if we could switch that read for me, the report that Adam Schefter put out that Taysom Hill will be out for the remainder of the season. He suffered a knee injury, torn ACL. It sucks, man. It absolutely sucks. So send Taysom Hill some love. Let's get in the comments section. Type those 7s. I mean, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but, let's rally around number 7, one of the truly most special players in Saints history and truly one of the most special players in NFL history as a whole. I think Taysom Hill should be in the Hall of Fame. If you disagree with me, argue with the brick wall. Now, really quick, I got to say thank you to Gametime for making today's shows possible. And hey, fellas, it is holiday season. That means there's a really good opportunity for you to get some tickets for you and your loved one, you and some homies, you and your dad, whatever you want to do. But also, I know we have a lot of Houdat ladies that watch the show. I like to call them my golden gals. So, golden gals, if y'all are listening, make sure you download the Gametime app. Use code CHATSPORTS to get $20 off your first purchase, and you can get some tickets for your husband, your boyfriend, a friend, or a guy that you may be a little interested in. Go get tickets to a Saints game. They're actually pretty cheap to get tickets for the matchup. Marshawn Lattimore and Jaden Daniels coming to the Superdome December 15th. That's my birthday fun fact. And then you also have the Raiders coming to the Dome at a Derek Carr revenge game. So if you want to get tickets for that, you can also download the Gametime app, and you'll get $20 off with your first purchase. Terms do apply, but I want to tell you guys about Gametime Picks. It makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Gametime Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Now, again, I understand that Saints games, not really the most appealing thing to go to, but if you want to go watch Tulane, if you want to go watch LSU, the Pelicans, I know they're injury-ridden as well, but if you want to just go watch some New Orleans sports for very, very cheap, Gametime, you can actually pretty much go for free because, like I said, $20 for free if you use our code, $20 off your first purchase with Chat Sports. Terms do apply. So download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Like I said, terms do apply, but use code CHATSPORTS to get $20 off when you download the Gametime app today. What time is it? It's game time. So Catherine Terrell, who does a wonderful job covering the Saints for ESPN, she added some context about the contract, and I do think it's important to discuss the financials because as we know, the New Orleans Saints have to clear a lot of space in terms of their cap space for next year. And Terrell pointing out that Taysom Hill has one more year on his contract with no guarantees left. He has no full guarantees or injury guarantees. He's owed $10 million base salary next season. And like we mentioned, he turns 35 at the start of next year. So his birthday is actually August 23rd. That is right around kickoff of the season, right before kickoff of the season, if you will, in the middle of the preseason, at the end of it, I should say. But like I mentioned, this is a bad situation. But I hate to be that guy. Maybe, just maybe, you can save some money due to this injury. Because, again, I'm just not necessarily sold that Taysom Hill is going to be nearly as impactful, not impactful, that's not the right word. But I don't think he's going to be as effective. I don't think he's going to be able to run as hard. I don't think he's going to be as fast. I don't think he's going to be as physical whenever he has that injury. I would love to be wrong for the record. I want to be wrong. However, we have to talk about this from a scope that is realistic. And if you were to cut Taysom Hill, here's how this works. Pre-June 1st release, you save just $277,000. That's the same if you were to trade him pre-June 1st. Now, if you were to cut him or trade him post-June 1, you actually could save $10 million. So, again, is it worth it? I don't think so because Taysom Hill is a special player. I'm personally not in the camp of cut him. But if you want to save some money, you have an opportunity to do it right here, and you have a reason because of an injury. And, again, I'm not trying to say the Saints should go and cut him. That's not what I want at all. But I am saying they could, and they could save considerable amount of money here. Now, what's most important is not the finances. It's not my thoughts. It's not anything about that. The most important thing is Taysom Hill getting healthy. It's focusing on rehab, getting ready for next season, and hopefully he can be ready to play week 1 of 2025. But let's be honest here. I don't expect that to be the case. I expect it to be at least a few weeks, maybe even a month into the season where we can even start seeing Taysom Hill participating with practice and with the team. Now, here we go. Let's talk about escaping cap hell one more time. I wanted to try and, space out this for you. But if you were to cut Derek Carr and Taysom Hill, you could save up to $40 million if you cut those two players. You have to eat a lot of money, but you also save $40 million according to the cap space. So, again, I don't think it's the right path, but I think it is a path, and it's something that the Saints should at least consider. Now, one final note for number 7. I just want to say we love you. I love you. One of my favorite players of all time. One of my favorite football players, even if I wasn't a Saints fan. I mean, how could you not appreciate and admire Taysom Hill and what he does? So, to number 7, if you see this and if we are able to have this conversation, I wish you nothing but the best in your recovery. I wish you nothing but the best with your future. I hope that life does nothing but bless you over these next few months as you deal with this injury and as you work through it. And we're rooting for you. We're pulling for you at Saints Now. And, hey, I want everyone to show some love to Taysom as well in the comments. Who Dat Nation, unfortunately, we had to bring you this video, but y'all stay golden. We'll see you next time.